when I really got into myself and sort of broke into sort of past traumas and, was breaking down unhealthy behaviors and all these things, I really hit a wall. And a wall that I had, through survival, not wanted to sort of climb over or even break through. So um, as I learned more about my humanity, I just sort of wanted to share it, really. And I'm really fascinated by the subject. I love the subject. I love the subject of well-being. I love the subject of mental health, and it's sort of become my passion. But definitely in the last, even actually, funny enough, since this book's been finished, which I started working on 8 years ago, because I was reading a lot of other material, and I was having a lot of different therapies, and I just thought, oh, it'd be great if it was all in one place. Um, so now that's come to fruition. The podcast is happening. There's another project I'm working on, um, and I do a lot of talks. I really feel like I've entered in the flow. I'm really in the flow at the moment. It's so nice to be in the flow.
That is a lovely state to be in, and it's eternally fascinating, isn't it? The mind. And one of the things that I took away from your book quite a lot is I've always thought about the mind body connection. You talk a lot about the body mind connection and somatic therapy, and actually starting with the body. I wondered if you wanted to share any of that before I start to talk about your I ams.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize actually how much I had written starting from the body and the nervous system, until actually I read the audio version of it over the last week, and just doing a few interviews and people really focusing in on that. So I guess I've sort of been in my own kind of education bubble through my own therapy, and yeah, I've really come to an understanding of what our brain does for us, and what our nervous system does for us. I mean, put really simply, we have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic. The sympathetic lets us run away from danger, lets us freeze, you know, do all the things to survive. And the parasympathetic then sort of comes up to settle us down again. If that's out of whack and our parasympathetic isn't working, it those feelings of anxiety, the cortisol, the adrenaline, stay in our body and very much drives, I believe, our mind, because our mind is a problem solving tool. It's very, very good. But when our mind's getting messages from our body saying danger, our mind interprets those messages as, well, we must do something. So, for example, for me, because all the stuff I do, I model on my own behavior. So it comes from no judgment. Um, my thing will be, if I'm sitting at night and thinking, I must repaint my room, it is imperative that I immediately repaint my room. I don't like this color, it's not work, but it comes with a sort of sense of anxiety. Then I don't need to repaint my room. you know I need to settle my body, calm down, and then have a thought, and normally I'll be like, no, I'm quite happy with the color, thank you very much. So it's a humorous example of how our problem solving mind will react to our nervous system. The problem is, particularly in the West, is that we focus too much on our mind. And actually, I'm not a huge fan of these kind of people, who are like, you change all your thoughts and you get out there and you do it. It's like, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, great. But if your nervous system doesn't want to do it, it's not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to do it. So I think a lot of those kind of motivational speakers, they have real power, but we don't want to get into our bodies because our bodies store a lot of shit, a lot of
Mm.
stuff, a lot of pain, a lot of sadness, a lot of hopelessness. We don't want to get into our bodies. So it's not an easy thing to do. But hopefully, in the book, at least it opens a sort of doorway into a way of becoming what my old therapist Lois Evans used to call a functional adult, and gaining self mastery. That's really what we want to gain, is self mastery.